Before we get started, we want to acknowledge that this is community space, that the power in this room is shared, that everyone in here has a voice, that we want to hear that voice, and that we want to be focused on solutions.
Neighborhood Stat is a process that we developed here at the Mayor's Office of Criminal Justice that really serves as a meeting ground for the city and for residents. So the goal of Neighborhood Stat is really to identify not just the problems about communities, but really being intentional and strategic about how we facilitate the solutions. Neighborhood Stat happens at two levels. In the local community, it's a multi-step process that begins with a MAP engagement coordinator at each site, recruiting and facilitating a stakeholder team of 15 residents, including youth, and city agency partners who work in the community. And those teams work together over the course of several months to really establish what their community safety priorities are. Residents do a tremendous job of digging into what types of data points would substantiate their feelings. And we do believe that people's perceptions and people's feelings are data points. People's lived experience are data points.
First we did is we put everything together, right? The next step is we find the data. We identify the data and making sure, is this project something we really need to do? Based on what you guys collected, it is.
Yes.
Like this is a start. You're gonna hear it many times, right? And I think you heard it. Like, why are you choosing the boot building? We trying to change the culture. What we trying to change the name to?
Unity Park.
Unity Park.
Look, you guys. Let me tell you something. And I'm not saying this to come at you. You guys know this by heart. You can't just start with something small, right? We have to start something big to make people believe us.
Right.
Do you believe we was gonna turn into a basketball court?
No.
You thought I was bugging, right?
Yeah, but you gave me hope.
Gave you hope. You had hope already, but what you talking about?
No, you gave us hope because I was getting ready to move. Okay?
Get out of here, man.
No, serious. You gave us a lot of hope and you know,
Well,
you changed my way of thinking. I said, okay, if this young man that don't even live in this neighborhood could come in this neighborhood and encourage all these kids that were born and raised in this neighborhood to do the right thing, me as an adult, I gotta follow him.
And so once those priority areas are developed, they are then presented to the community at local NSTAT. Local NSTAT is called such because it takes place right in the heart of the community at the development. And it's our stakeholder teams are presenting their priorities and their projects to the community for a sort of ratification.
Do the best that we can to make it better.
And when we come to the Central Neighborhood Stat meeting, we have a facilitated dialogue about responding to the problems as we've identified them. And residents are present in the room and are able to ask questions of their government and of the community-based organizations from their neighborhood, and they're able to get a lot of responses and feedback right there in the room.
If sanitation can speak to the garbage pickup, you said that there is no curbside pickup. Is there a reason why it has to be that way?
Castle Hill is known as a dumping ground. They deal with a lot of outside communities bringing industrial waste into the area and dumping.
If the police department can talk about how people can alert you to illegal dumping, if there's any activities that you are already doing around illegal dumping.
I've been in communication with Community Board 9 and Ms. Giles from NYCHA, and one thing I did was I got documentation from the ownership that supposed to clean the island. Is supposed to be Parks and Recs. It says it, I have it right in my hand since January 17th, 1983, that it was signed. So I have it here. If Parks
Receipts.
And Recs, I have everything right here. I have emails. I even sent it to Ms. Giles to let her know be coming in with a paper just to say that we need something done. If it could be a strategy, talk about what's the next steps after me showing this documentation, but it says Parks and Recs supposed to take ownership.
Does the NCOs, are they aware of a specific time that this is happening? Maybe we can do some observation and start doing some specific enforcement to that.
We haven't seen specific, like a time frame, but we'll speak with the residents and see if we can narrow down a time frame as to when that's most
And
problematic.
the team, maybe the team can also do some audits like you guys have done as part of your SEPTED project, do some audits on some dates and times to see if we can narrow it down.
As a solution, are we able to have stakeholders to be into those meetings, because stakeholders are always around and making sure they're doing the safety audits, making sure we're doing something. 'Cause it seems like
As a
I'm-
part of the joint operation.
Yes, because
Yes, I
it
think
would be
that's a great
great.
idea.
It would be great to be part of those meetings, so we could be able to add on. Because even sometimes there's certain things you guys might not see that we see. So we want to be able to be part of that process, so we could try to make this better.
No one knows better about what happens in a community, both good and bad, than the people who live there. They are the experts on their neighborhood. We really want to set the tone that we're all on the same equal footing. We all want to see the same thing, which is to get to the solutions as the community has dictated them. And the only way that we can account for that diversity of thoughts and of individual and of landscape and of geography and of building type and of resident, the only way for us to account for that is to be constantly listening and constantly iterating on how to be better as a city. For us, it's not just about the crime data. It's about seeing a difference between the relationships and the connections in the community. We're not naive to the point where we think everything is going to be solved by one meeting, but at least if we plant the seed, we can continue to water it